So, I sort of had this idea in my head for a long while, like since it was revealed that EMIYA Alter had killed Tiger, but what if Rin had by some stroke of luck or fate had summoned EMIYA Alter instead of Archer? Join me now as we ponder the question of what if. So obviously the scene would start off with Rin doing the summoning, only difference being that it's EMIYA Alter who crashes down into her house. EMIYA Alter would then greet Rin in a cold, emotionless tone, much like a machine rather than a human. Rin would then ask what class servant he was, and EMIYA Alter would respond that he is of the Archer class, which would make Rin freak out considering the fact that she wanted to summon a saber servant, not an archer. But Alter is quick to assure that although he is an archer, he is more than capable of combating even the most fearsome of servants, which would quickly calm Rin down. She would then go on to ask what his true name is, but Alter quite literally does not even remember his own name and merely replies that he cannot remember his name or past as a heroic spirit due to unknown reasons. Rin is disappointed about this, but nonetheless she accepts it and then extends her hand out to finalize their contract. Alter isn't quite sure what he's doing here. Normally Alea just deploys him to go and eliminate the next threat to humanity. He's never been summoned into a Holy Grail war before. But now as he takes a closer look, he cannot help but feel like he's seen this girl somewhere before. It was like trying to grasp onto something that kept on eluding him. Alter stops pondering after a while and accepts the contract. Perhaps by participating in this war he can learn of why he's been summoned here. Once the contract is finalized, he then asks what she plans to do, but Rin shakes her head, exhaustion clearly evident, and says that she needs to get some sleep and that they will plan tomorrow. Alter frowns, rather preferring to have plans made ahead of time, but reluctantly he agrees to let Rin get some rest. He would instead discreetly scout the city. Perhaps he could probably figure out the locations where some of the other servants might be possibly located. So he waits until Rin has fallen asleep. Once she's finally asleep, though, Alter quickly leaves the Tosaka household, heading into the city. He glances at some of the places, but he can't help but feel like he's been through here before. He tries to recall ever coming here, but all he gets is complete static. Alter shakes his head and focuses back on the task at hand. Entering spirit form, he travels up to the tallest building in the city to get a bigger view. Materializing back, he observes the area with reinforced hawk eyes. He can sense the power of the ley lines under the temple further away from the city. He deduces that a caster servant would most likely find that place to be a good place to act as a workshop. Heading over to the temple, Alter quickly enters the building, searching for the main ley line. Once he does so, he quickly projects a C4 explosive that's been reinforced to the max. Compared to his archer counterpart, Alter is easily able to reproduce modern weaponry and even alter his weapons into guns should he choose to. This is mainly because of his mental state and very messed up psyche caused by a certain witch that screwed him over. Hiding the overpowered and armed C4 explosive, Alter quickly leaves. Although there was no caster servant to confront, he had a strong feeling that one would set up their workshop in the temple. Yes, if he were to set it off, it would kill a lot of innocents. But Alter is indifferent to it. He's more than willing to sacrifice as many people as it takes for the sake of defeating the enemy and ensuring victory. Meanwhile, with Rin just before she falls asleep, she contemplates on the rather strange servant she summoned. She initially wanted a saber servant, but had gotten an archer instead due to her not fixing the clocks in her house, thus messing up the summoning process. But her servant reassured her that he was more than capable to match the other servants in battle regardless of not being a saber servant. Her mood turned even worse when she found that he had no knowledge of himself or his identity. But again, her servant uplifted her mood when he said that it wouldn't matter since he could still in a way access his noble phantasm without needing to know his identity. Although the way he worded it sounded a bit off, especially when he said his noble phantasm, like he was mocking himself. She wasn't sure why she believed him. Perhaps it was because of the way he held himself. He was a tall man that had grey steel eyes, dark tan skin, along with a buzz-cut styled hair. He wore a weird black coat which exposed his entire muscle-filled torso. That description alone made her blush a bit. His lower half consisted of a black and gold-themed waist cloak that matched with his black pants and heavy metal boots. And finally, on his wrists were a pair of large metal silver bands. All in all, her servant looked like someone who was strong and intimidating. Perhaps she may be able to win the war. She closed her eyes, unaware that her servant was already out booby-trapping the Ryouudou Temple for the eventual caster that would establish her workshop. Alright guys, that's it for part 1. Thursday I'll write out part 2 and post it when I can. If you've enjoyed my content so far, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more.